So I would like to say thank you for Mr. Alok for the good experience which was shared with the student and with us as well. And please, we would like to say welcome to Mr. Abdul Wahab, if he can start.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام.
Yes.
عليكم السلام أستاذ عبد الله، أهلا وسهلا بك.
Hello, والله. Thank you, Mr. Alok, for the wonderful lessons, life lessons. I think we had a similar childhood because I myself was in CBSE section, so you know how miserable my life was. And my father always used to expect from me a lot because my sister is just always 2 steps ahead from me. So whatever I do, I can relate to whatever you said. Yeah. So I'll be talking about interview skills, how to prepare for an interview, how to act during an interview, and post-interview reflections. Yeah. So I have a small presentation. Don't judge me for that. I did it quickly. I'll just share my screen. But before I do that, also Injaz told me to send you in the chat a pre-test, pre-session test evaluation. There is pre and post, so I'm going to send you the pre test that you'll have to do. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that, and we'll start with the presentation. All right. So I sent it in the chat. I'm not sure if you received it. Yep, should have received it. So we'll be starting in 2 minutes, 15:26. Yeah. Sharing my screen. Anyway, there you go. Is the PowerPoint presentation clear? Can you see it clearly?
I don't think it's clear to me.
Is it half screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just do this. It's fine now?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Now I can't see the chat. I did that because I wanted to see the chat if any questions used to come, and I wanted to see your reactions from the videos. Now I can't see anything. So just tell me and nudge me if there is anything, if there is any other question. So shall we start, Hassa?
Yes, please.
Great, perfect. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So my name is Abdul Wahab Al-Blushi. Working at Kuwait Finance House as a talent acquisition and employee engagement specialist. I started off my career at KFH. So going back to Alok's story, I myself was a failure at school. My father took me out from Al Noor school. He put me in another school because my grades were very low. And the advice in the parent-teacher meeting was, you know what, take your son out of the school because he's going to fail. So I was a failure until then. Alhamdulillah, when I got into university, I was like, no, you know what? I think things got serious now and I have to work. So I started working from university. I went to volunteering. I went to Thra volunteering. I went to TOT. I was trying my best to achieve high grades. Alhamdulillah, I graduated from University of Bahrain with a good grade. Now I'm doing my MBA from University of Strathclyde. In a nutshell, that's Abdul Wahab. Moving on forward with the presentation. So you will have three main sections: how to write a resume, how to ace your interview, and how to get an excellent internship. Of course, my part will be acing your interview. Yeah. So the agenda for the session will be about preparing for the interview. What would you do during an interview and post-interview reflections? Right. I'm going to move the full screen. Sorry for that. Then, so I'm not sure if you can see now. I'll have to see the notes below. So preparing for the interview, the first thing you'll have to do is Google it. It's common sense. I'm not going to come here and tell you in half an hour or 45 minutes or even 2 hours how to prepare for an interview, because naturally each interview is different. Yeah. So interview is not, personally thinking, interview is not a science. It's more of an art. Yeah. It requires information. It requires knowledge. It requires emotional intelligence, and it requires you to do your homework, to read and read and read and read and read. Read about what? Read about the firm that you're going for an interview for, to understand the business model of the firm that you're going for, to understand the position that you applied for. Yeah, and then to read about the firm's executive management team to understand the nature of the firm. And then I don't know why many candidates come to me and go like, you know what, they talk to me in secret and they go like, I need help in this and that. I go like, you know what, you can ask anybody at KFH. If you have an interview at KFH, you can ask anybody at KFH, how is the environment here? What are they looking for? Am I a good fit here or not? There is when you understand, okay, do I really fit in this organization or do I not fit in this organization? There is this understanding by students, usually when they enter an interview, they go like, you know what, I want to go to that interview with a mindset that I want to get a job no matter what. No, that shouldn't be the case. What should be the case is that when you go to an interview, you should understand the organization. You should see if the organizations fit with your values. You are not there to beg for a job. No, you're going there for an official formal meeting in which you would understand how this organization works, and they would understand what type of a person you are, what do you do, what's your experience, what are your academic experience, how would they use your skill set in the organization. This is what happens during organizations. So my advice, my first advice and the most important advice is knowledge is power. So keep on reading. People who read are usually more successful in job interviews. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to give you technical knowledge of how to pass an interview, because that depends on how much you read and how much you give, right? Google is smart. Google knows everything. Google does not forget. The amount of information that is available in Google and YouTube is huge. You had to go to libraries before 10 to 20 years. Now, 20 years, not 10 years. Okay, when I say 10 years, I go back to 1999 at my time. Yeah. So getting back to the session. So Google knows a lot. You have to go to Google. You have to learn from Google as much as you can. Try to research about the firm. Yani, I sat with students, fresh graduates, unfortunately, that came to KFH, which is an Islamic bank, and we asked them, what do you know about KFH? He goes like, you know what, it's a bank. Yeah, I know that. What else? An Islamic bank. Yes, what about it? Tell me about it. Show me that you read. The moment I understand that he just went to the website, he read about it, I would know, you know what, he did his homework. So he ticks the box there. He's a person that researches before that, because you know what, when you want to employ someone, you want a person who reads a lot. You want to employ someone that wouldn't tell you tomorrow that, you know what, I don't know this, and before entering a meeting, he does not read about the agenda of the meeting. You want a person who's diligent, who's smart, who goes to a meeting ready. And Yes, I can see a question here by Mr. Ali Hussein Ahmed. I would like to ask if there's any websites or places where the students can test their skills online. Yes, there are hundreds of websites that you could go to and test your skills. Depends on what skills that you're testing. Is it numerical? Is it behavioral? Is it emotional intelligence? Different websites. Some of them are for a small fee. But if you're asking me if I recall any, I don't, because it depends on the test that you want to take, right? It's not like there is one specific website that is for everything. One size does not fit all. Yeah. Then. So I shared my screen. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Okay. So after the interview, now during the interview, we are done. If there are any questions for during the interview, please go ahead by all means and ask. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end, and you could ask there. But if you think you'll forget or something, you could just put in the chat and I'll reply to you later on. Yeah. So after the interview, now what happens after the interview? It's either that you get a job or you don't get a job. Whether you got a job or not, you have to reflect what happened in the interview. Don't overthink. Do not overthink at all, because whatever you get is God's choice to you, right? Sometimes you're not the best fit for this role. Sometimes you go like, I wanted that job, I did not get it. God has something better for you. Keep that trust in him. Yeah. What I mean by reflecting in an interview is that thinking, okay, what did I answer? What did not go correctly? Read people's faces in the interview. See what they did not like in the interview. It's okay. You keep on learning, right? And usually in Bahrain, we are very shy people. So it's the interviewer or the interviewee. We do not give direct feedback. It's not like the Western culture here in Bahrain. We are very shy. We are very respectful, and that's something we are proud of. So when a thing goes wrong in an interview, they don't directly tell you. You will have to reflect. You will have to think. Just sit down, get a cup of coffee, think of what happened, and write it down, and think of how can you do this mistakes, let's say, better for next time. You learn from the experience in this way. Another advice to all the fresh graduates is that you stay in touch with the HR. We HR are human beings like you, right? We might be busy. We might not have enough time during working hours, but please drop me an email and tell me what happened about that interview. If I did not get back to you, of course, just tell me, how did the interview go? Did I do well? Were there any points that I could improve? I would be more than happy to help, and I'm 99.99999% sure that all the HRs will be very helpful and tell you the points that you had that you could do better in the interview. Right? Build long-term relationships. Never say no to an interview. Whether you are a CEO of a firm, whether you are a student, whatever you are, do not say no to an interview. Why? Because it's not because you want to jump. It's just because you want to build that network. You want to learn about that firm. You want them to learn about you. It's building relationship. Like they say, your network is your net worth, right? So build that network. Build that network in Bahrain, and in Bahrain specifically, it's really important because here in Bahrain we really go on. Okay, who do you remember a person? Does any person come across your mind when you for this position? I go like, yes, I remember for 2 years I saw this guy. I don't know how is he doing, but I'll contact him on LinkedIn, like Mr. Alok said. So LinkedIn is also important here. If you got the job, you have to thank God for his blessings. This is his blessings upon you before anything else. It's not you. It's not your efforts. Of course, that comes later on, but mainly it's God's blessing. You just pray to God, tell him, thank you for this position. Alhamdulillah, you got the job. Next is you focus on the next qualification that you want, the next skill set that you'll have to develop in this job. The politics of the organization. Politics is not always something bad. It's a lot of times something good. the networking within the organization, the branding that you do for yourself there, right? I know I'm speaking very broadly. If you have any questions, please tell me. Now, what I mean here by your branding is don't be the person that comes late to work. Don't be the person who is always lazy. Don't be the person who is not helpful, who is always angry, who is always a person that is not approachable. بالعكس, be the person that's helpful, be the person that does. And it takes effort, because I know these are very nice things what I'm saying, but usually it's not easy to do while you're under pressure. It really takes effort to do these stuff. Last but not least is setting your goals. Like Mr. Alok said, in your new position, now you achieved your goals. I know a lot of people who stood there. You know what? Okay, I wanted this job. Now he got this job and he just stayed there. Life is always about putting new goals, heading for bigger challenges, and keep on learning day and night, because what is life if we don't learn in our lives, right? What's your professional career if you stop learning? So if you did not get the job, now this is the bad news. Reasons can be that you're good enough, okay, but the job vacancy is cancelled. There is restructuring in the firm. You are overqualified for the position. Okay, you are academically smart. You might be fit for this role with your skill set. However, a different personality is required for this job. For example, you're a very, let's say, you're a very quiet person who wants to stay, do analysis. And this role is a customer service role, which is, let's not say lousy, but let's say in a noisy place, and that you will have to be very, you know, judgmental, let's say, at your work. You have to be very strong at your work. This might not be a suitable job for you, because you can't ask a bird to swim. You can't ask a fish to fly. Fish is there to swim and a bird is there to fly, right? Like I said, again, different specializations are required. That's the same applies to this too. And at the end, it's always الخيرة فيما اختاره الله. God chooses the best for you. If you did not get this job, you have to trust and be sure that you have something better coming. You always have to have that vibe. Of course, something better will not come without your hard work. تذكرون تواكل وتوكل توكلوا. Then, finally, I would like to thank you all for your time. I would like to end this with a small story about the future, and about jobs, and about work, and about the living conditions that we are at right now with the VAT and everything, you know, COVID-19. So at my last year in university, I was just sitting in the